Hello, General Math students. This is lesson 5.6 on scale drawings. We're going to learn to do two different things. The first thing we're going to learn how to do is find a missing length, and then the second thing we're going to do is find the scale factor. So let's start with our notes. Please have your notebooks and pencils ready to write down the next page. So I would like all of this in your notes, please. Feel free to pause the video at any time to finish copying this down. Scale drawings and models. I want all of this in your notes, please. A scale model or a scale drawing or model is used to represent an object that is too big or too small to be shown in its actual size. The dimensions of the object on the scale drawing or model are proportional to the dimensions of the actual object. Here are the three important pieces. First one, the scale is the ratio of the size of the model to its actual size. So our scale, like what it says down here below, is the model size over the actual size. Second thing, a scale can have the same or different units. It doesn't matter. And lastly, you can use a scale to help find a missing measure of the model or the actual object. Simply set up and solve a proportion, which is what we are going to be doing. So again, if you need to finish copying this down, pause the video. Otherwise, let's keep going. So we have two problems here. The scale of a drawing for a new pool is 2 inches to 7 feet. So again, we have the model up on top and the actual down on the bottom. So for this one, it's 2 inches to 7 feet. And I'm going to keep the labels in the proportion so that we remember what they are. Next sentence, if the length of the pool on the drawing is 10 inches, so it's the model, it goes up on top, 10 inches. What is the actual length of the pool? And that's the piece we need to find. So again, we're going to find an easy way. We're going to go this way, or we're going to go this way. And again, either one of them works. 2 times 3.5 is 7. Easier in my mind, 2 times 5 equals 10. So 7 times 5 gives me 35. And I'm pretty sure if I did 10 times 3.5, it would also give me 35. So my answer up here is 35 feet. Let's do the next one. Same thing, model up on top, actual on the bottom. The blueprint for a house uses a scale of 1.5 inches to 2 feet. And again, like we said in the previous slide, we can have different labels. If the living room is 18 feet long, so that means the actual living room is 18 feet, we need to find how far long it is on the blueprint. So again, I'm going to go this way, or I'm going to go this way. Now, this way just seems icky to me, so I'm not going to use it. We're this way. 2 times 9 gives me 18. So 1.5 times 9, I believe that gives me 13.5, and our label is inches. I almost goofed that up. Let's erase all of this, and our label is inches. There we go. Please make sure you're labeling the right way. Let's do another example. And again, remember we have the model up on top over the actual. The picture below shows 2 desks that are viewed from above. The size of the desks are proportional or similar. Find the missing side. Here's our missing side. So we can use anything from this one as the model, and then anything from this one as the actual. I'm going to erase that so I can see the numbers. So the model over the actual. And I only need 2 other pieces. So I'm going to use 8 and 16. So 8 feet on the model, 16 feet on the actual. So then I have 4 feet on the model, and I don't know what it is. That's our X on the bottom. And again, you want to find something easy. I can go that way, which would be times 2. I could go this way, which would be divided by 2. I don't care which way. They're both easy. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 4 times 2 is also 8. So X equals 8 feet. The one thing I want you to notice here is that we have fractions that we are actually going to turn into decimals. So here we go. Remember, we have the actual underneath the model. Model on top, actual on the bottom. So let's do this first one. A model car uses a scale of 2 1/4 inches to 3 feet. 2 1/4 is 2 25 inches over 3 feet. The model is 14 inches long, so I'm going to put that up on top. What is the actual length of the car? So let's figure this out, and I am going to try this way first. So I'm going to try 14 divided by 2 2/5. Let's see what that gives us. That gives us 6 2/10 repeating. So that's not always the best way. So let's go this way and try doing 3 divided by 2 25 hundredths and see what that gives us. Ooh, that gives us 1 3/10 repeating. So I'm going to try something else. Let's try dividing the other way. 2 25 hundredths divided by 3 and see what that gives us. That gives us 0.75, which is much, much nicer. So instead of multiplying, which is what we would do with these, I'm actually going to divide. I'm going to divide by 75 hundredths. So if you try it, 2 25 hundredths divided by 75 hundredths, you get 3. So I'm going to take 14 and I'm going to divide it by 75 hundredths. Plug that into my calculator and I get 18 and basically 6/10 repeating, and we're going to call that feet. In general, I'm not going to give you things with too many of these really ugly decimals. Use one that's short and sweet. Okay, let's do the other one. Set up our proportion. A scale on a map reads 2 inches to 125 miles. 2 cities on a map are 4 3/4 inches apart on the map. So 4 3/4 is 4.75. Now, this is which way I am going to go. 125 divided by 2, I know that's going to give me a very nice number, 65.5. So I'm going to take 4 75, 62. This should be 62.5 times 4.75. And that's going to give me 296.875 miles. And I'm just going to write down the entire decimal. On your homework, it may tell you to round to the nearest tenth, which would be right here. So this 7 would actually make that 8 go up to a 9. So 296.9 miles if I had to round it. Okay, let's try 2 more. The wingspan of an airplane is 197 feet. So we set up our proportion. The actual wingspan is 197 feet. We do not know the proportion yet, or the scale yet. A model of this airplane uses a scale of 5 inches equals 40 feet. Now we know. So again, I'm going to go up this way. 40 divided by 8 gives me 5. So 197 divided by 8 gives me 24.625, and I would label it inches. And again, if it tells you to round it to the nearest tenth, this 2 does not change it, so it would be 24 6/10 inches. Last one for this part. Scale model of a new building was created for approval by the city. The scale of the model is 3 inches to 20 feet, and the model is only 5 feet tall. So we got to change that, okay? We got 5 feet. 5 times 12 would give us 60 inches. And because this is in inches, I need to have the other one in inches. So it's actually going to be 60 inches. So how tall is the actual building? I don't care if the model and the actual labels are different, but the model and the model over here have to be the same. Once that is, it doesn't matter what you multiply. 3 times 20 gives me 60. So 20 times 20 gives me 400. So this would be 400 feet tall. The building is actually 400 feet tall. So this goes into your notes. This is the second part of our lesson. We are going to talk about finding the scale. There's 2 steps to it. To find the scale of a drawing or model, step 1, okay? First step, this should be going into your notes. Write the ratio of the model length to the actual length. So again, we're going to do the model length to the actual length. Then step 2, we are going to simplify the ratio so that the numerator is 1. So that when we do this, the numerator is 1. Generally, you're going to divide the numerator and the denominator by the numerator. And you're going to see as we go over it. But this is how we set it up. Okay, so let's do number 9 here. We have our drawing length, which is 9 inches, actual length, which is 45 feet, and we're going to go 1 inch equals what? So basically to get to 1, we divide by 9. So 45 divided by 9 gives us 5 feet. So this is the scale, and we're going to write it 1 inch equals 5 feet. This is how I want you to write it. Let's do number 13. 2 cities are 750 miles apart. That is the actual miles that they are apart. If they are 8 inches apart on a map, what is the scale? We're going to do 1 inch. So it means we're going to divide by 8, divide by 8. So 750 divided by 8 gives us 93.75 miles. So we would write it as 1 inch equals 93.75 miles. That is our scale. You are making a scale drawing of a school library using the scale of 12 inches to 6 feet. So 12 inches is 6 feet. What would be the factor? Oh, this should be scale factor that describes how much smaller the drawing is than the actual library. So we're going to make it 1 inch. That means we're going to divide by 12 up here. We're going to divide by 12 down there. Now be careful. It's 6 divided by 12, not 12 divided by 6. So that's only a half a foot. So 1 inch equals a half a foot. And there is the scale factor that we would tell you to write. For the movie King Kong, special effects crew is creating a larger model of King Kong using a smaller scale model in the picture. If they use a scale of 16 feet in the larger model equals 1 foot in the smaller model, what is the height of the larger model? So we know that it's 2 feet. Here's our picture. It's 2 feet tall. Well, this one's kind of easy. We multiply by 2, so 16 times 2, it is actually 32 feet. So your homework is the scale factor homework, 1 through 12, which is right after this video. Feel free to message me with any questions.